Frequent flyer miles. They're advertised as the key to luxury given to you by the airline, but they're so convoluted to use. And when flying for 12 hours, everyone wants to fly like this. And every single one of those people paid under $100 for those tickets. How did they do it? Let me show you. You see, frequent flyer miles are quite valuable when you know what you're doing. There are some basic things you will need to understand in order to see how to use frequent flyer miles. For example, you have to be aware of the relationship between airlines and between mileage programs. This is very important because it shows you where to put your miles based off of where you want to travel. Now, the main reason that you are flying is to get from point A to point B. So, in order to do this, you obviously need to plan your route. One of the most important things to understand if you want to travel is that airlines operate in a hub and spoke model. This means that there are hubs that the airline's flights operate out of, and you're going to try to fly flights between these hubs to wherever you want to go. So say you wanted to go from Charlotte, North Carolina to Budapest, Hungary. In order to do this, you would want to pass through major hubs for airlines like New York or Frankfurt. Those are respectively hubs for United and Lufthansa, both members of the Star Alliance. An important step is understanding each class. Each class is marked by a letter. So for example, on United, here's what letters represent which classes. Even though the person sitting next to you is in the same class as you, doesn't mean they paid the same and doesn't mean they're earning the same number of miles. You see, not every aircraft is created equally. Each aircraft has different seats, and it's worth checking out what aircraft you'll have to see what seats it has, because some are superior to others. I use a combination of Seat Guru and Expert Flyer in order to see the seats. This is important because for the same mile price, you could be flying this or this. Both of these run on New York to Paris, San Francisco to Paris, and Los Angeles to Paris, so it's important to be able to differentiate these to know exactly what you're getting. As you can see, you can look at your seat map for your flight in Seat Guru by simply plugging in your airline name, plugging in your dates, and plugging in your flight number. It'll immediately pull up your flight and exactly what your aircraft is going to look like. This is the old aircraft, as you can see, because it doesn't have the angled seats. As you can see on this one, the seats angle away from the center of the aircraft, so therefore it's the newer seats I showed you. Also, since you have the aircraft number, you can now look up other people's images of the aircraft if you actually want to see the pictures of the seat. But Kyler, you say, how do I get these miles in order to be able to fly all these great products? Well, that's a fantastic question. Now, there are a ton of ways to gather these miles. However, I'm going to simply mention two very popular techniques, which is number one, credit card farming, which allows you to pull out a ton of credit cards to get the bonuses on these credit cards, and therefore those bonuses are turned into points. A better strategy is taking advantage of credit card categories and earning more points there. And so, everything culminates here in booking your trip. So remember the routing information I gave you earlier? Well, there's sort of a catch. Airlines aren't big fans of you getting things for free, so they make this really damn difficult. And the way they do this is they artificially limit the amount of seats you can use your miles on. What that means is you're going to have to find award availability, and that is really hard. Now, if you think back on what I told you before about the hub and spoke models, that means that airlines put a lot of planes in between those hubs. So that's where you're going to find the award availability. So that's where you want to fly if you can. So, for example, let's go back to my guy trying to travel from Charlotte to Budapest. In a perfect world, you could just fly this direct. But no direct flights exist, which you can find after a simple search on the Wikipedia page of Charlotte Airport, which lists every nonstop the airport has. Hint to whoever's listening to this, every airport has that on their Wikipedia page. Now, Expert Flyer has the ability to track award availability for you, but that costs money, so I don't pay for that. Instead, I check through websites such as United.com, Delta.com, or AmericanAirlines.com. So what I'm going to do is complete a sample booking on United.com. I know United has a region-based mileage program, so as long as you're flying in the region, in this case the US to Europe, it will be the same price anywhere from the US to Europe, no matter how many stops you take. This is valuable to us because there is no nonstop, but you won't pay extra for the extra leg. So I added our origin and destination and made sure that book with miles is checked, fill out the departure and return, and search for flights. As you can see, I got lucky and found award availability. I cannot see the seats because United cannot see Lufthansa's information, but I can easily look it up on Lufthansa's website. This is Saver Award availability, which means it's the cheapest miles ticket price you can get. So I made this look easy because I just pulled up a booking and boom, we already had our award availability. It will not normally be that easy. I had to look in advance for that award availability. I had to search through the dates. It really is a pain, and that sucks. So sometimes you have to relocate your origin, sometimes you have to choose a different destination, and that's how you're going to get award availability, by being flexible with your dates and where you're going. Sometimes you have to be creative. Sometimes you have to fly down to Los Angeles since you can't find award availability in San Francisco. These are all tricks that it's sort of a bummer you have to use them and they use up time, but if you really want flights that are cheap and are that nice, then sometimes you gotta sacrifice time. It sucks, but these are things that I've been taught over the years in studying frequent flyer miles. So hopefully you found this video informative, and who knows, maybe you'll be booking your own award flight sometime soon. When in doubt, it's all about being flexible. And if you're flexible, you will find the dates and you will find the availability.